Hello everyone, I am Sindhuja, Assistant Professor, Department of Marine Engineering. I am at deemed to be University. My topic is fabrication of monolithic integrated circuits. So in fabrication of monolithic integrated circuit, so we will see the brief introductions about overview of IC, advantages of IC, typical ICs, what are all the ICs, then we will go for our topic fabrication of monolithic ICs, then typical IC circuits. What are all the typical IC circuits? In this circuits we will see. Let me see what is integrated circuits. Integrated circuit is nothing but a single silicon chip. In single silicon chip we are fabricated in large number of components, a grouping of components like transistor, resistor, capacitors. In single ICs we contains a large number of components in single IC, we call it as a integrated circuits. So we can portable from anywhere from here to another locations, that is as integrated circuits. So let me see what are the advantages of ICs. In advantages of ICs, it is small size, improved performance, low cost, high reliability and low power consumptions and less vulnerability to parameter variation, easy troubleshoot, then standard packaging, increased operating speed, less weight and portable, and battery operated system due to low power requirements. So in small size means a grouping of components, a large number of components in single chip, that is IC technology, that is a small size in nature. Next is improved performance. Even though it is a small size, it will improve a lot of performance. So more complex circuits is used in a single chip means it is improved performance, it shows the improved performance. And low cost, the cost wise it is very low. Then high reliability. So next one, the low power consumptions, the most advantage it's a low power consumptions, then less vulnerability. So simple design system, another one is a standard packaging and less weight is one of the most advantage, it's a less weight. Next. In typical IC circuits is based on number of components. So from starting stage to this stage we have a lot of improved performance is there. First thing introduce small scale integrations. In small scale integration we will introduce only 30 to 30 chip, that is approximately it is hundreds of transistors. So next generation we are using a medium scale integrations. In medium scale integrations we are using 100 to thousands of transistors, and next third generations we are using large scale integrations. In large scale integration 300 to 3000 chips performance, that is 1000 to 20,000 transistors as used in these large scale integrations. So finally we are using a very large scale integrations. In very large scale integrations the 20,000 to 10,000 or 1 lakh, 10 lakh transistor are used in a single ICs. That is a large scale very large scale integrations. Then last final we are using ultra large scale integrations. In ultra large scale integrations then more than 10 to the power of 7 transistor are used in ultra large scale integrations. Then next the fabrication of ICs. Based on the fabrication of ICs we are using in integrated circuits we are using two types of circuits. One is monolithic ICs, another one is a hybrid circuit ICs. It's based on fabrication of ICs or monolithic circuits, another one is a hybrid circuits. In monolithic circuits we are using bipolar technique, another one is a unipolar technique. In bipolar we are using PN junction. There are two sides, the PN junction diode, another one is a dielectric isolations. In unipolar there are one way communication, that is MOSFET, another one is a JFET communication. Then next turn the realization. This is a typical IC circuit. The whole process is made in one circuit. That is, we will see the realization of ICs. So, we will see the capacitor, diode, transistor and resistor all are in single chip. We will call it as a ICs, that is call it as a realization of ICs. So, each capacitor we have a one isolation technique, and diode is a one isolation, transistor is one isolation and resistor having one isolation. So, large number of components in a single ICs, we call it as a in large number of components single circuit, we call it as a ICs, that is a realization of IC. We will see we will check the IC circuits. In IC fabrication process, we will see one by one what are all the IC fabrication process involved in this chip. Okay. The first one is a silicon wafer preparation, the next one is a epitaxial growth, and third one is oxidation, then fourth one is a photolithography, and fifth one is a diffusion, then ion implantation, next one metallization, and the last one is a assembly packaging. The first one we will see the silicon wafer preparation. In silicon wafer, the first one is a silicon wafer preparations. In silicon wafer preparations, it is a number of methods. The first one is a crystal growth process. This is a large process. Then after crystal growth process, we will take one slice of silicon, that is a ingot timing and grinding, and ingot slicing, and wafer polishing, etching. Another one is a wafer cleaning. In crystal growth process, we call it as a Zuralski crystal growth process. In Zuralski crystal growth process, we will use a silicon sand and silicon sand on seed crystals, and this region we call here, this chamber we call it as a Zuralski crystal growth chamber. In Zuralski crystal growth chamber, this region is a quartz crucible. So, here we will apply the silicon sand. In silicon sand, after that, after heating the temperature in the range of 1420 degrees Celsius, the silicon will melt, the silicon sand will melt. So, in this region we call it as a silicon rotating chamber. In this rotating chamber, we are applying one seed crystals. The single crystal rod of silicon, we call it as a seed crystal. So, here this is a rotating chamber. Then finally we get the silicon slice. The next slide we will see brief discussions about the Zuralski crystal growth process. So, last slide we will discuss the silicon, what is silicon. So, this is the crystal growth, Zuralski crystal growth chamber. Same thing, this is the Zuralski crystal growth chamber. Here this is a quartz crucible, this is a quartz crucible chamber, this is a rotating chamber. Here we are applying this is the single crystal rod of silicon. The single crystal rod of silicon, we call it as a seed crystal. This is a silicon sand. Here the first we are applying the silicon sand. Silicon sand is applied in the crucible chamber. After heating in the temperature in the range of 1420 degrees Celsius, so that silicon sand will melt. So, finally we get the molten silicon liquid. So, after that we are applying the rotating rod. So, this rod we call it as a seed crystal. The seed crystal is applied in the silicon melt. So, after some times, then the next step we will rotate in rotating chambers. After rotating in clockwise directions, after rotating clockwise, the anti-clockwise or clockwise directions, finally we get the silicon ingot. So, this is call it as a silicon ingot. So, large number of silicons with silicon melt we get the silicon ingot. After getting the silicon ingot, so once the seed crystal is dipped inside, after taking out, after some time it will take out the final product, we get the silicon ingot. In silicon we have to slice each silicon ingot. From each silicon, that is slicing. The next is ingot slicing, that is the ingot slicing. The second step is the ingot trimming and grinding, is we are applying one seed crystal inside the silicon chamber, that is rotating chamber, and inserted into silicon chamber, that is the ingot trimming and grinding. After final product we will get the output, that is a ingot silicon. That silicon, this is the ingot of silicon. After getting the ingot of silicon, we will slice each slice, we make it into each slice, that is slicing. Third step is a ingot slicing, and after getting each slice, the wafer, we will get final wafer. In final wafer we get wafer polishing and etching, because after slicing we will get some rough surface on the layer from top layer and bottom layer. In top layer also rough surface and bottom layer also rough surface. Have to cut the 10 millimeter above thickness and below thickness, each 10 millimeter and below 10 millimeter on the rough and top and bottom surface. So we will get after then we will polish by using some chemical reactions. Then etching means cutting, we have to cut the slice 10 millimeter above and below. Then next one is a wafer cleaning only. After wafer cleaning only we will get one smooth surface. Okay. After cleaning only we will get one smooth surface, that is a silicon wafer. This is the final of silicon wafer. After silicon wafer process, this is the final plate. That silicon wafer, this is silicon wafer, these are all the region of the all silicon wafer. We will see next stage of epitaxial growth and oxidation process, diffusion alone. We will see the next slide. So next, after finishing here, after finishing the silicon wafer, the first basic planar process is silicon wafer preparation. After finishing the silicon wafer preparation, we will get one slice of silicon. After getting one slice of silicon, we will go for epitaxial growth and oxidation, then photolithography, diffusion, ion implantation, isolation technique, metallization and assembly packaging. Then we will see the epitaxial growth. So what is epitaxial growth means? So that is arranging the atoms upon. Epi means over, so taxi means arrangements. So arranging the atoms upon, we call it as a epitaxial growth. After finishing the silicon wafer preparations, we get the final stage of silicon wafer, and after we will go for epitaxial growth. Then what is epitaxial growth means? Arranging the atoms upon. Epi means upon, taxi means arrangements. So arranging the atoms upon on the silicon wafer, that is a substrate. The silicon wafer we call it as a substrate. On that substrate we are arranging the atoms on the silicon wafer, we call it as a epitaxial growth. So in epitaxial growth, so this region we call it as a quartz boat. So this region we call it as a crucible chamber. So silicon wafer are placed in the quartz boat, and this quartz boat is inserted into the crucible chamber. After inserting the crucible chamber, we will apply some heat, we will give some temperature over 1000 or 1200 degrees Celsius. So at the time we are exposing some gas or hydrogen or oxygen. So here we are exposing hydrochloric acid, hydrogen plus diborane, then phosphate and silicon chloride silicon, then hydrogen and nitrogen, exposing some gas over the silicon wafer. At the same time we are applying some heat, applying some temperature, applying some heat in the range of 1200 degrees Celsius. So by exposing some gas, we are arranging we will get some atoms on the epitaxial layers. That is a smooth layer, it is a thin layer over the silicon surface, that is epitaxial layer. The thin layer is created, thin layer is formed on the silicon wafer, we call it as a epitaxial layer. Some unwanted gaseous atoms goes into the outlet regions. So wanted atoms, only arranging the atoms only is presented on the silicon wafer, we call it as a thin layer, that is epitaxial layer. On the surface, on the substrate, we create one thin layer, we call it as a epitaxial layer, epitaxial growth. So in oxidations, the oxidation is nothing but the silicon, the oxygen is exposed, oxygen with silicon, we call it as a silicon dioxide. So oxygen is applied on the silicon, we get the oxidation process. So applying high temperature, by applying oxidation process, applying high temperature on the oxidation, we call it as a thermal oxidations. Like that epitaxial growth, the oxidation process is always involved in the epitaxial growth process also. The silicon plus hydrogen will get the silicon dioxide, plus hydrogen will get the silicon dioxide, then oxidation process. The SiO2 is nothing but it extremely hard substrate. It hard protective coating, actually it is a protective coating over the epitaxial layer. The first one is a substrate, the next layer is a epitaxial layer, and third layer is a oxidation layer. That is a extremely hard protective coating. That is a protective coating. It almost react all reagents, all chemical components except the hydrochloric acids. Okay, it stand against any contaminations presence in that substrate means it will remove. Okay, in oxidation process extremely, it's a protective coating. So, after epitaxial growth, after oxidation, we go for a photolithography process. In photolithography process, so what is photo, what is litho, what is graphy? In photo means light, exposing light, and litho means stone, so exposing light on stone. Graphy means write, we have to create some image, number of patterns, we have to create some patterns by applying UV rays, UV light on stone through. So, by applying UV light on stone, we create some graphy, we create some pattern, we call it as a photolithography process, that is photolithography. Printing with light, we call it as by printing with light, that is UV light is exposed on the stone, exposed on the substrate, it creating some pattern, we call it as a photolithography process. This is an important process in the whole fabrication of monolithic IC. Then in photolithography process, the applying UV light, this region it is a mask, this is a mask, this is a spectacle lens. So, why we are using mask? Mask means, why we go for mask means we have to find out the separate regions, we have to find out identify the correct region of circuit, we have to create some patterns, we have to create some generation of patterns, so that we have to set the one mask. By after setting mask, applying UV rays on mask, so it creates some patterns that is repeated onto wafer, that is pattern being. This is region, it may be a complex circuits, identifying the complex circuit, which circuit is placed on which regions, identifying the region, identifying the area, identifying the area only we are using mask. After applying mask, apply the UV rays on the mask, the UV rays goes through mask and it generates some patterns on the silicon wafers. So, one more technique in photolithographic process also, etching process, photolithography etching. In photolithography process, the first one is a substrate and thin film, maybe epitaxial growth, and another layer is oxidation process, and oxidation will create one resistance, the resistivity of mask, resistance layer. Then on that resistance layer we apply some UV rays. So, in resistance layer that is photoresist, in photoresist may be a negative photoresist or positive photoresist. So, in positive by applying UV rays on this photoresist mask. So, in positive photoresist it can able to take the UV rays, in negative photoresist it not able to take the UV rays. So, in that region the negative photoresist will remove that particular region. So, only it will take the positive photoresist. Here you will see, here in this is a photoresist region. This is a photoresist region, then mask alignment, this is the mask, through mask UV rays are applied on the photoresist region. So, this region we consider as a positive photoresist. So, in this region we have some negative photoresist. So, in negative photoresist there is no capability of handling, so it will remove the portions. So, positive photoresist is able to handle the UV rays through into the substrate. So, after handling the UV rays will some development, and etching process it will cut the some of the regions. So, finally, the resist remove, photoresist it removes, finally we get some substrate with some layers. The next one is the diffusion process. In diffusion process, why we go for diffusion process means, so we need to create some regions. No, one is base region, another one is emitter region, collector region and substrate region. For each ICs we have these are all the region, base, emitter, collector and substrate regions. So, in diffusion some of the doping, some of the impurities also inserted in diffusion region, and one of the advantage of base region, emitter region, collector region, substrate regions. So, the atoms will go inside the region, we will use the base region, emitter, collector and substrate. This is p type, n type epitaxial layer, and on the above layer p type and n type layer, and in this we have to find out some regions, that region only for base region, we have to find out the n region for emitter and n plus collector and p plus region for substrate. So, next one is the ion implantations. In ion implantations, the adding impurities to the substrate, or some of the atoms are atoms are able to hit the vacuum chamber, the target chamber. In target chamber is nothing but a silicon wafer. The silicon wafer is placed inside the target chamber. This is, we call it as a substrate. Here in vacuum tube, here we call it as a vacuum tube. In vacuum tube, large number of ion atoms or ions presented in the vacuum tube. Once the high voltage is applied inside the vacuum tube, once high voltage power supply is applied on the atoms, is inside the atom means here group of ions, group of atoms goes towards the mass separating electromagnetic region and accelerometing electromagnetic regions. So, group of ion goes to the mass separation regions. Here some of the ions having less capability of hitting the target, and some of the ions having the high capability of hitting the target. So, in this case, in mass separating electromagnet, what will happen means, so less capability of ions will remove here itself. Here high capability of ions, what are all the ions having the high capability to hit the target, that ions only it allows the mass separation electromagnet, it allows the exactly 90 degree, we will get some one pinhole point here, we have some pinhole point here. So, it allows one exactly 90 degree towards the accelerometer regions. So, some of the ions having a low capability of hitting the target, it will remove here itself, it will smash here itself. Some of the high capability of ions goes towards the acceleration electrode. So, here this region we call it as a acceleration electrode. So, once the ions are reaching the acceleration electrodes, so what are all the ions till all the ions are moving very slowly. So, once it reaches the acceleration electrodes, all the ions moves very fast and it reaches y axis. Here we having y axis deflection plate, here we having x axis deflection plate. Why we are using y axis deflection plate here and x axis deflection plate here means, here the large number of ions are moving towards the substrate, it moving very fast. So, these two plates will not allow to deviate from this region. So, all these ions move towards it hits the substrate. So, it diffuse diffusion will applied diffusion or impurities, and ions are inserted, ions are applied on the silicon wafer, that is ion implantations. Ions are implanting towards the substrate towards the acceleration electrodes. Ions are implanting towards the silicon wafer through acceleration electrode, that is ion implantation. So, next one is a isolation technique. In isolation technique is nothing but the creation of islands. The creation of islands for N region and creation of islands for P regions. So, here this substrate is a P type substrate, in N type, here number of N type substrate, in N type substrate, N type island. So, we need to create islands for drain region, we need to create islands for emitter region, we need to create islands for collector regions. For emitter region and collector regions are generated on only N layers. So, first in P region, N layer island is placed over the P layer island, P type substrate. In P type substrate above N type layer, we call it as a N epitaxial layer, that is one of the island. Here these are all substrate, this is isolation. Isolation means islands are isolated between the P type substrates. Here N type epitaxial layer is placed on the P type substrate, here there is no island, here again we have some N type epitaxial layer. Here in this region there is no island here. So, separations, isolation of islands, separation of island, we call it as a isolation technique. Here we will see the dielectric isolations. Dielectric isolations is nothing but the P type substrate is above above n-type epitaxial layer is above the p-type substrate. Again the p-type substrate is above the n-type substrate. Here n plus region is above the p plus region, we call it as a dielectric isolation. In dielectric isolation we will create, this is emitter region, this is the base region, this is the collector regions. So these are the silicon dioxide, silicon oxide, this layer we call it as a silicon dioxide. These are all the dielectric isolations. So each islands is over on the above one another, each layer is above one another, we call it as a dielectric isolation. Same therefore for metallization. Metallization is a good conductor, it's relatively it's a good conductor, it's easy to deposit aluminum. So why we go for metallization? It deposits easy to go for aluminum films using vacuum depositions. So aluminum makes a very good mechanical bonds with silicon. So aluminum is particularly very good bonds with silicon, that's why we go for metallizations. In metallization process, the aluminum forms its a low resistance non-rectifying contact with p-type silicon and heavily doped with its p-type silicon is heavily doped with n-type silicon. So this is a base plate, evaporate flux, vacuum tube, boil jar, evaporation source, these are all vacuum pump. So these are all process for metallization. So finally we go for assembly packaging. So dual inline, what are all the packages we will consider? Dual inline package, ceramic flat package and TO5 metal package. These are all the assembly packaging. This is the completion of all the process. This is the assembly packaging. This is the monolithic circuit. So these are all the typical 14 places. These are plates. These are wire bonds. Ceramic mounting base. This is a ceramic mounting base. This is a wire bond. The bonding islands. These are islands. This is a glass. These are glass. By using this technique, we are using ceramic. These are flat packages. This is a TO5 glass metal packages. Finally, we get the one typical ICs. That is a one typical ICs we are getting. So this is a fabrication of typical IC. We will see. Before that, we would discuss about the fabrication of monolithic ICs. We will see one by one on the typical circuit, how the typical circuits are made. The first step and second step, third step, fourth step. Here the first step we will see the substrate, that is a p-type substrate. We are creating silicon wafer preparation, right? That is a p-type substrate. That is substrate. The first step is a substrate. That thickness is 400 micrometer thickness. Then second is epitaxial growth. On the p-type substrate we create one n-type layer. That n-type layer we call it as a epitaxial growth, that is epitaxial layer. So that region is 5 to 25 micrometer thickness. In p-type substrate we have only 400 micrometer thickness. Over the 400 micrometer thickness we have one epitaxial layer. The thickness contains 5 to 25 micrometer thickness. On that epitaxial layer we would discuss about the oxidation process. That is nothing but silicon dioxide. That is silicon dioxide is placed over the n-type epitaxial layer. That thickness is 0.02 to 2 micrometer thickness. After some photolithography process we will discuss about the diffusion and isolation technique. So fourth typical circuit is a diffusion. Diffusion is nothing but the creation of islands. The creation of island, the number of epitaxial layer over the p-type substrates. N island 1, island 2, island 3 and island 4. So this is a diffusion process and isolation process. Isolation process means isolating all the layer, n-type layer. So number 1 n-type layer, n2 layer, n3, n4. So number of n-type layer is placed over the p-type substrate. Separation of islands we call it as a isolation technique. This creation of region, that is this is for capacitor region, this is for diode region and this is for transistor and this is for resistor. So grouping of transistor, grouping of complex circuit we will made in a one single ICs, that is a monolithic ICs. This is a typical circuit for every layer, every circuit. So this is a final circuit. So p-type substrate in over n-type substrate. N-type substrate is over P-type substrate, again P-type substrate is over N-type substrate, and finally a silicon dioxide. This is the window region, that is N plus region. These are all the window region. So this is the final typical IC circuit. In summary, we will discuss about the integrated circuits and advantages of ICs and what are the types of ICs related to monolithic and hybrid ICs. Then we will discuss about the fabrication of monolithic ICs. Last we will discuss typical IC circuits. Thank you.